I have to meet this drug like addiction counselor, right? And they have to evaluate you, and then that drug counselor will tell the court what you need to do. And fun fact, if you blow twice the legal limit, it's always you're going to counseling. Turns out 100% of the time you're caught with twice the legal limit, they will recommend you for drug counseling because it helps the court, it keeps the economy going. It's how they tax you. I had all of those facts going in. I'd seen the statistics, and it was like, not 100, but it's like a 98% chance. If you blow twice the legal limit, you're getting 5 weeks minimum of drug counseling and alcohol counseling. It's just part of the deal. So I went in, did my intake interview when I was out of jail. You know, I talked to the guy, whatever. And the guy's like, yeah, I'm just going to ask you some questions about your recent usage and how things led to where they were. And we're going to figure out if I think that you need additional counseling and blah, blah, blah. And I cut him off right away. I'm like, dude, there's like, you're going to recommend me for counseling. Like, I already know this whole business model. Like, I already know what... You're sending me to 5 weeks of counseling. I've seen, like, I've read, I've asked other people that had cases that were similar. I've looked up cases that were similar. I know the stats. You are sending me for drug counseling. There's no way around it. Like, I blew double over, and when you're twice over, that's it. They send you to the thing. And the guy goes, well, that's not necessarily always true. And I'm like, yeah, no, I know. But I'm not like a senator's kid or anything, so... Like, let's not be fucking retarded here. You know what I mean? So the guy's like, well, then tell me about, you know, your past. So I straight up told this counselor to his face, I'm like, since I already know it's a money grab and you're going to fucking recommend me for counseling, I'm going to be the most honest person that has ever walked in this fucking room. So the guy's like, hit me. I'm like, all right. He starts asking me questions about my drug use. One of the questions was, name every illicit substance or drug you've ever done, like, you know, outside of alcohol. And I was like, you want the truth? In my lifetime or recently? And he's like, just in your lifetime. I'm like, marijuana, cocaine, Molly, ecstasy, heroin, meth, Percocet. Like, I went down a list where this guy was like, you know what I mean? Like, and then he's like, all right, recently though, like leading up to this arrest and everything, like, how was your life and blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, I was at rock bottom. I got fired from I told him everything. I got fired from my job. I'm in the middle of a federal lawsuit. It's a fucking train wreck. I'm fucking self-medicating. And then I started telling him, I'm like, I did Molly every day for 6.5 months. Sometimes I eat a Percocet just for fun. I do cocaine. I do fucking, I'm like, I've freebased cocaine before. Because he goes, have you ever, this is one of my funniest parts, is he goes, what about crack cocaine? And I go, oh, I've never done crack cocaine. And he goes, oh, okay. And I went, not freebased cocaine though. And then he perked up. He's like, excuse me? I'm like, yeah, freebasing's different. I'm like, when you freebase cocaine, it's generally cocaine with most of the purities removed. You're just smoking cocaine and it's, you know, it's just for funsies or putting it on the tip of a cigarette. I said, that's technically freebasing. So yes, I've freebased cocaine. I'm like, I never did crack. No, I've never done crack with the rock and everything. No, I was like, I've never done that. But yeah, I was like meth, coke, Molly, ecstasy, e-pills, fucking weed, fucking drugs. I was like, yo, I even told him the story of during Y2K when we were in high school and we used to party at my buddy's parents' house because he would let all of us party and drink and do whatever we wanted as long as there was no like hard drugs that they knew of. Drinking and weed and stuff, like they'd go, yeah, like, and to their credit, they raised like 2 very well-adjusted sons. But we used to hang out at their house and their parents would let us party, but we had to give him our car keys and we could promise not to drive till the next morning. And then his family would make us egg sandwiches in the morning. New Year's Day, they'd be up making us fucking breakfast, egg sandwich, bacon, egg, and cheese sandwiches, potatoes and stuff just in the morning, just to, you know, they were the greatest people ever. They were Canadian. I remember, like, during Y2K, we had a buddy, Sean, that came by, and he was like, yo, like, we had a rule. Like, if you come to our party, you got to bring something. That was the rule. 2 words, bring something. That's all you had to do. And if you came for that, 2 rules, bring something and leave your keys. So everybody knew if you're taking a car here and you have car keys, his parents are going to take them from you till the next day. But you get a whole night of partying. And the other rule was bring something. We had a guy one time that just brought angel dust. That's all he had. He's like, I got some dust, dude. I'm like, I'll come through. I'll see if they want it. We actually smoked an angel dust blunt at like 11:55 at night, right before Y2K. And I'll never forget all of us just choking on that fucking shit and smoking this. By the way, the weed wasn't even that good. It was like mid-grade 1998 weed, but we were just fucking, it was just that, you know what I mean? That dirt weed, but we had it laced with this shitty dirt weed, laced with fucking goddamn PCP and like angel, you know what I mean? That kind of shit. It's like, oof. And we got fucked up because we were like, hey, it's the end of the world, let's go out dusted. So I even told him that story, and by the end of it, the guy was so horrified. He's like, well, and here's the thing, they're gonna send you to a certain thing, it's always the same thing. It's always 5 weeks. It's always 5 weeks. It's meant to trap real drug addicts, and they'll get caught pissing dirty at one point. But like, everyone gets the minimum 5 weeks. Everything I told this guy about the Molly I was doing and how I was just doing drugs, I was driving around Molly drunk off my ass every night. I was fucking, like, I was literally driving home from Ybor, getting my dick sucked, hammered, blackout drunk, eyes rolling into my head, almost crashing into dividers in my brand new fucking Infinity. By the end of the stories, the guy was so horrified. Do you know how that affected me? I got the same exact recommendation that I would have gotten if I went in there and just went, no, I've never really had a drug problem. He just caught me on a bad night. I had a few too many, and I was at a business meeting and I got caught on a bad night. They would have went, you blew double anyway, you're doing 5 weeks. There was no additional weeks for being a complete degenerate. There's just 2 punishments. Either no recommended drug counseling or recommended drug counseling. Turns out everyone gets the recommended same amount of drug counseling. So I went in and I gave this guy a fucking, just a brain full of information to where he was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, I'll probably do drugs again. I'm like, once I'm off probation, whoop, whoop, what are you going to do? Right? All I gotta do is be more careful. Like, I just fucking lit this guy up to the point where he went, well, I'm recommending you for 5 weeks to one of these approved treatment centers. And I'm like, yeah, I got that. That's fine, whatever. I already saw it coming. I knew what you were gonna do, but I at least rattled this guy that day. You know what I mean? Like, I at least gave him a day of, like, where he's used to people downplaying shit and him trying to pull shit out of people. And when somebody just came out and went, oh shit, yeah, no, I'm gonna get fucking taxed to death for this anyway. Let's sit down and talk, yeah. So I started doing Molly when my buddy gave me some about 7 months ago, and it was so good. And I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna take this every day. And I was making good money. I had strippers handing me cash every night. So I just started doing Molly every night, drinking, driving, fucking strippers. Like, I just went down the list, and the guy was just like, most people aren't this forthright. And I'm like, none of this affects my case. You have one job. Do I get 5 weeks of drug counseling or not? And I already walked in knowing I was getting the 5 weeks. So let's go. And then I beat the 5 weeks. I didn't do drugs. I didn't do anything. I fucking followed the rules. And as I promised them, I went back to doing way worse. Goofy Boots goes, LOL, Mersh makes this guy blow his brains out like Pablo from Late Night. I'm sure by the end he was like, I know for a fact when he went to lunch that day, he definitely went to lunch with coworkers and went, I had the weirdest client today. Like, he came in and just spilled the spaghetti on the table. Told me everything he's ever done. And the guy's a fucking disgusting creep. And then I realized I am a useless bureaucrat. Holy shit. There was nothing I could do to him. There was no letter I could write. There was nothing I could do after his confession to affect his penance for what he's done. I realized as a useless fucking piece of red tape that my only job was to charge him money to pretend like he had a chance at avoiding drug court, but he was just gonna go to the fucking drug rehab anyway. So I hope in that moment that guy realized how useless he is. You're just a guy that has to take a money order from somebody and then break news to him that everyone knew in the first place. I hope he felt useless. I hope he knows now that I still microdose shit. Fuck off, pussy. Do I think I fucking ruined his life? No, but I like to think that for that day he just went, I had the weirdest fucking guy today. It was weird. He just told me everything. Anyway, that brought me, the reason I was talking about that was because I was talking about when you go to the medical ward. When I went to the medical ward, the cop was like, yeah, he made notations that he wanted to kill himself. I'm just covering my fucking ass. He's been cool. He's been cooperative. He's not like sobbing and grinding. Like, I let him smoke a cigarette. He's been chill. I don't think he wants to kill himself, but he brought it up. And this was just at a time when rules had changed in the jails. They were getting a little tighter about shit. So even the cop that recommended me to do that shit wasn't being like aggressive about it. He's like, I don't really think he wants to kill himself, but he did say it. And I even said, do you mean that? And he told me, nah, I'm just fucking, I'm going through it. And like, but I got to tell you, I'm not fucking going to be the deputy that loses his pension over a goddamn, So they put me in medical. When I was in medical, I met a guy that got smashed in his fucking head, like by the cops. He put up a fight. He got fucked up by these cops. So he was in medical because he got beat up by the cops. And he was this wigger ass drug dealer. And he told me a whole story about how the cops put his evidence in or whatever. Because they'll tell you like sometimes when you're going into jail, like what's in your evidence bag. And he specifically was like, yo, I have fucking cash on me. And it wasn't enough for them to fucking mark as like, you know what I mean? It was like something like $1,000, whatever he goes. He's like, they fucking stole it. It's not even, he goes, bro, it's not in evidence. It's not any of my shit. Like, it's just fucking gone, bro. He goes, I watched these steal like it wasn't 1,000, like 1,500 or something like that. He's like, I just watched these fucking rob me, dog. And I was like, I believe it, Like, you hear these little stories. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. But the medical ward's wild because it's a lot of people that fought cops and got their ass beat and then nutcases. And then they stuck me in a cell in a turtle suit with an old man who was like schizophrenic and like coming down from drugs, and he was a mess. He was terrible. And like, he just kept talking to me, and I didn't want to talk. I was drunk. I was coming down from drugs. I was coming down from being drunk. I was sobering up in a jail cell. It's the worst. At that point, you just want to sleep. And in the turtle suit cells, like in the medical cells, they put you two in a cell in these like locked off, like clear glass things, like in Oz. But the floor is just pure cement. There's no beds. There's no drapes. There's no anything that you could hurt yourself with. So if you want to sleep, you got to sleep in a turtle suit naked on the floor, which sucks on a cold cement floor. So it's like, all right. So I just like, I'm laying down. I'm like, at this point, I'm laying on cement. I'm coming down. I hate my life, right? Like, I'm borderline, like the closest I've been in 10 years to crying. Didn't cry because I'm not a bitch. But I was like, God damn, this is the worst, And I was just laying on the floor, and then this old man just starts ranting and raving, like telling me about, like, hey man, like, you believe in God? Like, blah, blah, blah. And he's like talking to God, and he's talking to me, and he's talking to God, and he's talking about my dad, and he's talking about, like, he's trying to do this, like, Long Island medium shit to me, even though he's a schizo old white meth head. And it got to the point where I was like, listen, man, I'm just trying to get some sleep. You know, you keep all that shit to yourself. I'm trying to go to fucking bed. It was an old white man. I'm not trying to be like a tough from jail. It was black. It was an old white man. I'm like, man, you need to just shut the fuck up. I'm trying to get some sleep. Whatever. So I'm trying to get some sleep, whatever, I'm late. And he just keeps babbling, blah, blah, blah. I get pulled out of the medical cell like 2 hours later. They bring me in and they go like, the psychiatrist on staff, whatever, is going to see you. And we're going to figure out if you need to be here or in jail. This was like this is why I was in jail for 36 hours instead of like 12 hours. Because I fucked myself. I could have probably seen a judge in 12 hours, but I had to go to medical for 24. And then like the psychiatrist had to make sure I was okay. And then I almost blew it. Because I try to be such a funny guy that I go to the office. And they're like, yeah, the psychiatrist wants to see you. And I'm like, for what? They're like, just wants to make sure you made some statements. We want to make sure that you're not really going to, hurt yourself or anybody else, blah, 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 before blah, blah, blah. All right, cool. So I go in and I sit down and I'm still in my stupid turtle suit and it's freezing. Jails in Florida suck. They're freezing cold all the time. All the time. And you're usually half naked. So go in there, blah, 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 and the doctor starts talking to me, and he's like, yeah, hey, blah, 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 and I just want to ask some questions, and blah, 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 and I literally almost bought myself a 72-hour hold by being because I was, again, man, I was just pissy, and, like, I was just in a shitty mood because I'm coming down from drugs, and I was coming down from booze, and it's not like I could just grab a fucking, you know what I mean, another J-Mo and Coke or like, you know what I mean? Just, I can't have like some Doritos. I'm just sitting there. I'm in jail. It sucks. I'm like, and I'm doing what I've always told you guys historically I do. The same reason in jail that makes you not a good guy is the stuff that makes me the best guy when I go to hospitals. I'm in a hospital. Nurses love me. Everybody loves me because I'm just being sarcastic and stupid. And I'm making stupid jokes about the seriousness of things. But man, when you're in jail, they don't like that. So I go in and talk to the guy and blah, blah, blah. So the doctor's like, yeah, you were brought in. You made some statements about self-harm and we wanted to look into that. And I'm like, yeah, no. I'm like, look, I'm going to be honest with you, doc. I'm like, I fucking literally just, I haven't been having a good run in my life. And I just got a DUI to cap off like how fucked up like all my decisions have been lately. And I made an offhand comment in the backseat of the fucking cop car of like, at this point, I might as well end it. I don't even think I said kill myself because I don't use that phrase because it's almost, I probably just said like, at this point, I should probably just fucking end it. And I'm like, I'm not really going to kill myself. I'm like, I'm going to post bail. It's a DUI. It's a misdemeanor. I'll get through it. I'll figure it out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not fucking retarded and my legs still work and I know how to make money for people. Like, I'll be all right. We'll be okay. Had this doctor charmed up. Dude was all cool with me. Until we got to the official ending of the interview. He goes, all right. He goes, observing you seem fine. You seem normal. You seem like a guy who's a little down on his luck, and I wish you the best, whatever. But he's like, I think you're all right. I think we can release you to Gen Pop, and you can go get first appearance the next day and get your fucking, get out of here and work on your, whatever, blah, blah, blah. He's like, all right. He's like, I have to do this. It's just a checklist. I got to ask you these questions officially. It's just like your Miranda rights. And they start asking you, like, are you suicidal? And I'm like, no. And they're like, are you going to do that? No, blah, blah, blah. Do you hear voices? Blah, blah. No, of course not. Like, blah, blah, blah. Is this blah, blah, blah? No. I said to him, like, I have substance issues. Other than that, I'm fine. And the guy, like, he goes down the list. And then he gets to, this is where I almost blew it. He gets to this question of, final question. Do you feel right now that you are a danger to yourself or a danger to anyone else around you? And I tell the doctor, I go, normally no, but I swear to God, if you put me back in there with that old man Jesus guy, the schizo, I might bash his fucking brains against the wall and then kill myself. I said, I don't even know if that's the exact one, but it was something to that effect. I was like, if you put me back in a cell with that fucking crazy fuck, I might kill both of them. That's what it was. I said, if you put me back in with crazy Jesus guy, I might kill both of us. And it was literally just swing and miss during the playoffs. And you're like, and the doctor got so fucking, he goes, look, man, look, dude. He even said dude, I think. He might have said dude or man. He got very non-doctorish. He went, look, man. I think he said man. He was like, look, man. You understand that I have to... This is an official process. He goes like, I'm giving you a do-over here. This was an official process. I need to write down an answer where you're going to get out of this fucking place. All right, dude? Like... You gotta get out of here, and I know you're not, like, I know you're making a joke. It's not the fucking time for jokes, dude. Like, he got very serious. He goes, so I'm gonna ask you the question again. We're gonna do a mulligan. You're gonna pretend like we didn't ask that question just now. I'm gonna ask you that question, and I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear the first answer. So you can get out of here. Answer the fucking question. And he's like, he's like, are you a threat to yourself or anyone around you in your opinion? I was like, no, of course not. I'm not. No, I'm a good guy. But you could tell, like, I knew in that moment the doctor knew it was funny because he almost laughed, but was like, God, like he wanted to laugh, but was like, fuck, that's, God damn, dude, stop. You're almost out of jail. You're almost out of jail. And I happen to have a cool guy that like was like, dude, I'm gonna fucking ask you one more time. Be serious. And I was like, no, I'm cool, man. I'm fine. I'm sorry. And I knew, like, to this day, even if they had to use that in court transcripts, it would have been shit that juries would let me, like, people would laugh at that shit. Judges would laugh at that. You could clearly see the I was just tired and I was cranky. He's like, are you a danger to yourself? And I'm like, no, I'm fine. But if you put me back in the cell with that old man, I might kill us both. It's just like, dude, don't say that, please. For your own freedom. God damn it, man. You can even chart me way through jail. Like, that doctor loved me, bro. If that doctor didn't think what I said was hilarious... By the way, keep in mind, there's one doctor in jail treating all these nuts, right? So he knew who I was in a cell with. It was also like, he's had to talk to this a million times and be tired of his bullshit and his schizo fucking, you know what I mean? Like, so there was an element of humanity where that doctor had to go, God damn it, that's fucking hilarious, and I can never give him, I have to no-sell it. I have to no-sell how funny that is, because he knew that guy was driving everybody else in the medical wing nuts for fucking weeks. And they put me in a cell with him, and I'm like coming down, being drunk. I'm like, yeah, if you put me, I might kill that guy. It was a moment where he went, all right, this guy's kidding, but dude, don't say that. I have to write that in the thing if you say that officially.
I made some mistakes, had some bad breaks. Now my mind don't wake and mind.